Hello everyone, hope you all are safe and doing well. As Tim Cook says, a great product is not just a collection of features, it's how it all works together. And no one better than a product manager would understand the significance of that. Today is World Product Day, and while usually it is always or most of the time a conversation specific to product management, we at Zwitch decided to bring on some product managers to talk about embedded finance. Oh, and yes, here's wishing all the awesome product managers out there in the world a happy World Product Day. I have immense respect for you folks because, in a way, the world is a much better place today because somewhere a product manager planned their product roadmap and executed it really well. On this occasion, we are glad to bring to you product folks from across the globe who will share their thoughts on embedded finance. In general, I interact with a lot of product managers, and in some of my conversations related to this topic, one of the things that has emerged is why should a product manager consider embedded finance as part of the product strategy? Let's hear what the people working at the ground level have to say about that.
Our product strategy is our way and our big steps how to get to our product vision. I think it makes sense to consider everything in there that will lead you closer to what your product vision is. And embedded finance can possibly do that by being an extra value add on top. So let's say you're in some sort of e-commerce, for example, because that's where I'm going soon. So that's a good example for me. And you want to offer your customers more than what you already do right now and maybe make it easier for them. This might be something to look into and just consider and see how does it fit in with the things you already want to achieve, where you already want to go, and make things easier for your customers. Because at the end of the day, that should be one of your big goals. You want to make things easy and worthy for your customers, and with that actually reach your business goals. So considering something like embedded finance will most likely give you some extra value add.
Thinking about embedded finance, I think the most important piece of embedded finance is that it is an ecosystem play, right? So for a product manager, you're always in a pursuit of making an ecosystem, right? So it's always like, ecosystem is greater than a platform, is greater than a product, right? So while we are product managers, we try to become a platform, and then finally we try to establish an ecosystem because that is what is the eventual success of the product or longevity of the product that it brings in. So that is the most important thing that I can think of, what embedded finance brings in, right? So it's not just a feature, it's not a product or a platform or a plugin. It brings in the entire ecosystem, which includes the financial bodies or financial institutions, which are either taking care of payments or financing something, lending, things like that, whether it is short term, long term, medium term, whatever. But yeah, it involves financial institutions and provides them a lot of user base.
So let's think from a non-fintech perspective, right? Like, so even before embedded finance, I would like to talk about why would a non-fintech company even consider something remotely related to fintech, right? So first thing is, I think everyone is very well aware that all non-fintech players are slowly moving towards having some sort of a financial services layer in their application. No matter what industry you consider, everyone is fighting for the wallet share, fighting for the the control and visibility of all the income expenses of those particular consumers or businesses, bringing them to the formal economy. These are the things that people are still discussing. So these are reasons enough for any players, primarily the non-fintech players, to consider moving towards a financial services layer within their product, and that's why they should consider this as a part of their product strategy as well. And just to add quickly few areas over here, the biggest challenge that any fintech goes through, whether it is related to payments, whether it is related to cards and transaction processing, online payment gateway, whether it is wealth tech, insurtech, the biggest challenge that everyone faces is fintech is a fully regulated space, right? And if any non-fintech players want to get into the fintech space, it's going to take them a very long time to pass through those regulatory challenges. And because of those reasons, most of them do not consider moving into the fintech space or providing the financial services layer in their product itself. So with embedded finance, I think the biggest change that's going to come is players who's working on the embedded finance part will solve the regulatory challenges. They will expose all this in terms of API, in terms of SDK, in terms of different other modes, which non-fintech players can very seamlessly integrate into their product journey, into their product workflows, which will help the overall ecosystem.
Wow, that sums it up really well. Product managers watching this, take note. Now that we have the product strategy in place, I guess it is evident why you need to consider embedded finance. So, if you are a product manager, especially a growth product manager, I believe this is a topic you might want to explore. Now, while the product strategy is really important, how should you approach that? How can you go about embedding financial services into your products?
You always have one build versus buy decision to make, right? So you typically would look at what you can build versus what you can integrate with, and then buy. So if financial thing, the feature of financing or payment, anything related, or providing that credit period or for something, is something that is not core to your business, you should definitely look at embedded finance and make sure that let the best platform, best product handle the nuances of that entire finance piece, without you having to worry about something that is so not core to your offering, right? So so essentially you are able to get the entire offering and impact your product metrics without having to take in the entire headache of building something or integrating with multiple pieces and then piecing them together, right? So that also is like a big problem that that challenge which I can totally relate to.
I just said it might add extra value, but to know that you should definitely go about it the same way you do with any feature or new product that you introduce. You want to do some discovery first and make sure that there is a problem out there that you are solving, that there are enough people out there that need this problem solved, and test it and come up with ideas around how to implement this kind of thing into your existing product. And because you don't just want to add it because it's fancy right now and everyone's just like, woo, embedded finance is the new thing, so I'll just add it. Like I don't know if some people might remember blockchain for a while was just like the craze, and everyone's just like, I'm going to put blockchain in my product even if it does not make sense. So first you want to do discovery to make sure it actually makes sense. There's a problem that you're solving, and look into the risk. Marty Kagan talks about usability, which is kind of a bit more to the end of discovery most of the time. But is it valuable to your user? You need to find out if that's the thing. The way that embedded finance gets offered now actually makes the point of technical feasibility a lot easier, because you don't have to go and reinvent the wheel and build something that is highly regulated and really needs a high amount of security. So anything in the financial services is a pretty hard product to build. And so with having embedded finance available, you don't need to worry about all of those things.
Here is I would like to state the problem, right? So the approachability, as I said, let's take an example. I'll go vertical wise. Let's take an example of payroll or HRMS as a vertical, right? Now in payroll, if you look at how today's payroll or HRMS softwares are structured, you have all your data entries over there where, calculating the number of days the employee worked, the overall salary, the taxation, everything is done. But if you look at the FinTech or the financial services that is required for a HRMS solution, is paying the employee TDS, is paying the like deducting the TDS is happening, but paying the TDS is outside that ecosystem. Paying the salary directly to the salary account of the employee. These are again services in order for an HRMS to provide. They will have to go to their banks, or they will have to go to a government portal, pay all these money, and again go back to your HRMS system and record this. So this is where the embedded finance plays a huge role, specifically speaking about the HRMS and the payroll industry. If I take example of another industry, let's take maybe mobility startups, or let's take food delivery startups. Today, once the delivery person has delivered your food, or you're taking a ride to airport, these are workers who heavily rely on their daily wage that they're earning. Now, due to a lot of regulatory challenges, these fintech startups, or rather I would say the mobility startups and the food delivery startups, are not able to disburse the payment in real time. There are a lot of challenges around how long can you hold the money in a wallet, things like that. Now, with embedded finance coming into play, that entire regulatory framework goes away. Now you can pay these money to your vendors, to your customers, or to your employees on a real-time basis, which is more transparent in nature, low cost. And yeah, that's broadly, I would say that two verticals which can directly have a huge impact if an embedded finance comes into play.
Thank you so much for your time and sharing your thoughts around embedded finance. I'm sure this was truly insightful for all our viewers out there. Goes without saying, we love product managers, and you can be sure that there will be more videos in the future featuring product managers discussing API banking, banking as a service, and topics related to embedding financial services to products. So if you are one and would like to join our future videos, drop in a line mentioned at the reach out link in the description. Until then, be sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss out on the awesome things Zwitch is up to. We're always cooking something intriguing, so stay curious and stay mystified.